Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Team Tuesday this week with Jörn Hendrik Ast. Hey, Jörn, welcome back.
I'm so pleased to be here. The second day. I made it to the second day.
Yeah, and we have a time machine coming up, and at least that's what we promised yesterday. So let's see how we can come up with a time machine here. But let's go through the two questions we have for today. Of course, we'll talk about teams in a minute, but first, Jörn, what is the book that most inspired you in your career as a Scrum Master?
So I would say, looking at my bookshelf, super difficult to say, because I'm one of those people buying books because they think it's intellectual wealth. So I do have way too many books, but I would pick a book that inspired me recently a lot and that I'm thinking really a lot. And this is interesting because it is not like an agile method book. It's not about flight levels or scaled agile methods. It's a very simple book with a very simple topic by Amy Edmondson. She's professor at Harvard, and she coined the term psychological safety for teams. And her work with the Fearless organization talks about how she found out how psychological safety actually helps teams to make better work. And I find this such a substantial topic, which is so important in my day-to-day work, also as a Scrum Master, that I really need to say that in the last half year or so, this book really inspired me and helped me to drive a lot of workshops, retrospectives, and discover anti-patterns.
So if you would have to go to that book and pick one lesson that you think Scrum Masters out there in the world all should know about, what would that be?
So there's a very sad evidence that she comes up with when she talks about what actually destructs team and it is dangerous for teams. And she calls it the big silence. So when teams stop talking about the problems that they discover, that they feel that they have, and make the wrong decisions, right? Even management. So it would be, if there's such a high level of psychological unsafety, because you cannot talk about the errors and mistakes that you went through, the mistakes, the failures, and then you stop talking at all. So, and there was this interview with an engineer who said, "But why should I talk about this? I need to pay my rent." And this is such a hard truth. And it actually, the honesty makes me sad.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of examples of that in many different industries. One of the most famous being I think it was the Colombia disaster.
2003, yeah.
Yeah, where it came out after an investigation done later that it was because of people not feeling safe when delivering bad news and the pressure that management had put on the organization, in this case NASA, to only deliver good news. And I think that's also, for me, one of the key aspects. The moment that psychological safety disappears, the most important information managers need disappears with it, right? Because the bad news aren't delivered, and therefore we can't react to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and may I talk a bit about why I read this book? Because I recently, through my work, I'm a creator of content. I'm a creator of books. I'm a creator of podcasts. Not like you, but with my humble episodes that I'm creating. But I also create films, and because from this writing books and writing also, show notes from podcasts and making interviews, I came to the realization that I want to inspire more, and I want to inspire people actually on how we manage successful teams through short films. And the idea of writing the scripts for the films was, how can I display psychological safety in teams? And I wrote this kind of script around the following one day in the work of a hotel manager. Actually, it's an interesting script that talks about this little bits and pieces where actually the hotel manager, where she discovers these moments of psychological unsafety. Her colleagues not really being open to her. When she comes up with an idea, she's not being heard, and all of this. And I don't want to go through more too much into detail of the script and screenwriting, but it was interesting to discover that it is sometimes very small gestures that we discover when we work in teams, that psychological unsafety comes up, and it may only be the question, I do have a problem. Can I talk to you around it? And it would be, no, I'm sorry. I have a meeting in 30 minutes, right? And this is all it needs for maybe one day to demotivate a person completely.
Absolutely. And it is, as you say, those small moments of lack of psychological safety. And that's a very important aspect, because we are also, as Scrum Masters, contributing to those moments or not, depending on how we act, of course. And especially how we act with teams, which is the next question, Jörn. So on Tuesdays, we like to explore how teams sometimes create their own problems, and they take on these behaviors or patterns of behaviors that may start small, but eventually escalate and can become really big problems for the team. So tell us a story of a team that you worked with, and walk us through those small steps and the small things that over time grew and became a problem for that team.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very happy to talk very open about this problem, because it has been displayed also on LinkedIn by the manager I worked with, actually, Stefan. And it's from, am I allowed to talk openly about companies and the way? Okay, perfect. So, and Stefan actually is the business lead of, it's an energy provider called Yellow here in Germany. It's a very strong brand. It's a brand that works very successfully. And they came up with an idea for an app. And the app was for electric car owners. And the idea was to show them, to go through them with different profiles of electric cars, different vehicles, to find out what is the perfect car for them to use. And they developed this app for over a year, and the team was really excited and working with the agencies, with the developer team to make, the iOS team were coming up. They were even thinking of going to Android or whatever. And at a certain point, we discovered that it doesn't make any sense, that we need to stop. We actually need to take the app from the App Store, because we are not creating value. We're not creating value for the customers. We're not creating value for the company. And it was a very painful moment. And I think the team got itself in a lot of trouble, because they were digging very deep into the features, and they really were thinking about how to kind of, work for the product, but not taking in the feedback that they got. And luckily, we had open reviews. We even invited people to come to us, like real customers, to talk about the app, which was still in development stage, right? Because we wanted to roll it out, right? And we were still developing it. But yeah, and it was very sad for the product owner. I remember it as it is today. We really needed to convince him to talk about this. But then what Stefan did, and I really admire his decision, because it was so helpful for the PO and also for the CEO, the PO was reporting to. He was like explaining the situation, and then the CEO said, "This is a good decision. I'm happy that you made it, and I'm happy that you failed, honestly." And then we were really talking openly about it. So it was a very nice example of how failure and actually making the right decision of taking the app from the App Store really helped the team to move forward.
What do you think were the patterns that prevented the team from seeing that failure earlier? Right? You said that we even had feedback for the team. So what was missing?
I think it was the level of honesty in the organization. So first of all, it was the personal story of the PO. The PO in the former project already had a feeling of losing an idea, an innovative idea, because it was not successful. So he really wanted to make this app successful, right? And he was really struggling with it. So it was a personal kind of scheme of making this product successful no matter what. That was the first point. And the second one was, because of this, it was so difficult to convince him of the truth. So the PO really did a great job in fighting for the vision and making it right, but then losing himself in actually the features and the discussions with the agency who did the wireframes, right, and making beautiful designs. So it was quite hard to actually dig through all of this.
So in fact, this might even be a story of where commitment can be taken to an unhealthy extreme.
Yes. And I'm so happy that this is so open, right? Stefan really talked about this, and he thanked Hendrik, his PO, for this, right? And it's openly on LinkedIn, so it's accessible. And I really enjoyed like this process of doing this, and actually also the PO saying, thank you so much for being so convincing, or to being so for working on me to making me actually see why this is actually why this needed to happen. So he actually thanked me as a Scrum Master for destroying his product.
Yeah, and that's actually the key aspect, right? Because of course one narrative here is you destroyed my product, but of course there's another alternative narrative, which is we freed the team to work on something that had a much bigger impact.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that narrative is very important, because if we are really committed to doing something like delivering this app, we can't see the other narrative. The narrative of the team has other things they could be doing that deliver more value to customers and stakeholders.
Absolutely. And yeah, it was so interesting to see that the team started to lose the trust in actually working for the product, because the PO was so dedicated in actually doing this. And then it was the UX designers. So often UX designers, they just want to go forward and create beautiful stuff. And I remember him saying, I think we need to move on here. And Hendrik as CPO was like, no, we're not there yet. We need better. We need to improve the button. We need to improve the second screen. It was like, oh no. And it was interesting to see that the team was losing faith, and the PO actually needed to fight for acknowledgement for the team. And this was also the point where I said, we need to move on here, right?
Yeah, and that's the other aspect, is that failure is not the problem, and we still need to motivate and acknowledge the contribution that the people in that failed product had made, because their contribution was valuable. It was the product that wasn't valuable.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that story, Jörn.
Absolutely. I'm happy that it's out there.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the product owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for Agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in Agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused Agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, Product Owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.